Tusko's trainer, Bob, has spent many weeks training Tusko to do the behaviors we needed for the procedure. So on the day of the surgery, it was all very routine and comfortable for Tusko. First thing he does is get Tusko to position his forehead up against him, which is kind of the basic starting point. Margot, our veterinary technician, is now cleaning up the backside of Tusko's ear. They have nice veins back there, and she's going to put an IV catheter in there so we can administer the drugs to him once he lies down on the waterbed. At this point, it's all very routine for Tusko. We've been doing this with him at least a couple times a day in the weeks coming up to the procedure, so he's very comfortable getting little snacks from his trainer, Bob, while we're doing it. We had to spend a lot of time practicing to get him to lie down exactly where we needed him on the waterbed, so he'd be positioned right where we wanted him. Okay, so at this point they're doing his normal routine, brushing him just to make him feel comfortable, which is what we did with him every day. Pulling his ear, manipulating his ear, just like we'd always done with him. So this is all pretty normal stuff for him. The only change is that he's actually getting the injection now, and that's what the veterinarian's giving him right now. This injection is a very potent drug that's only made for very large animals like elephants. You can inject him with a very small volume compared to his body size and make him go all the way to sleep. Once he's asleep, we're all actually pretty nervous about going in with him still. He's a very dangerous animal, and this is really the only time we are ever in the room with him. So we had to make certain that he was definitely all the way asleep before we put everyone at risk with going in with him. So once we're sure he's asleep, we kind of mobilize and get everyone in. You can see the anesthesia machine coming in at the top left of the screen. They're going to start filling the waterbed with water really quickly, kind of get everything going as soon as we can start the surgery. We use a lot of ropes on his legs, and the main reason we do that is to protect the people who are working around him. If he gets a little bit light under anesthesia, we don't want him to kick forward with his legs or pull his trunk down and hurt the people who are going to be working on his tusk. I also like to pad the legs against each other. They're so heavy that when he's asleep, just the pressure of the leg lying on the other leg can cause problems for him. So the anesthesiologist is going to pass a hose down into Tusko's trachea, and then the large trach tube you saw there is going to be passed over the hose. And you can see they're passing the endotracheal tube right now into his trachea, and that's what he's going to breathe through during the anesthesia. There we're drilling out the remaining part of the tusk. There's about 10 inches of tusk material we had to drill out. It was about 4.5-inch diameter solid block of ivory we had to drill through, so it took a lot of work. Actually, they're only showing me drilling it, but 4 or 5 other people actually did it. It wore us all out, and we all had to take turns doing it. It was very tiring. You can see we had him hooked up to various machines to monitor his anesthesia. Those are the hoses that are delivering the anesthetic gas into the tube we put in his trachea, so he's breathing pure oxygen mixed with an anesthetic gas, which is what keeps him asleep. Anesthesiologists like to check the eye, the tip of the trunk, to make sure they're asleep enough. So here we are, we've deflated the waterbed. They're in the process of recovering him, so we're going to start disconnecting all the equipment and getting it out of the room. Give him a shot in his ear to wake him up, and very quickly he starts moving and trying to get himself up. The hardest part for him is going to be to get his head up and roll onto his chest. If you watch him do it, their heads are very heavy, and even when they're just waking up from normally lying down on their side, it's a big effort for them to do that. So And we're kind of waiting with bated breath as he tries to get his head up and rolls onto his chest. You can see kind of over his back we have a harness set up, and that was in case we needed to. We can use cables to help roll him up onto his chest. You can see how much work it is for him to do that. So there he goes. That was a big hurdle. And the next one, he's going to get his rear legs underneath him and stand up and lift all of his 13,000 pounds up off the ground. And there he is, big sighs of relief all around.